Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? And welcome to the StarSeries and iLeague StarSeries Season 14. My name is Blue. Jumping in, of course, to cover for the regular Face It guys this evening. I've got two best of threes for you, and this is the first one that we're going to be getting started with right now. We do apologize for the delay, of course, but it seems that there was a little bit of a problem getting a satisfactory server for both squads, so because of that, of course, we did have to take a little bit of extra time to make sure that everybody was satisfied and overall good and dandy here to get things started with this match. But it does look like we are live now with the knife round, so we'll take a look at things, of course, and see who ends up picking up. The first match is going to be over here on Overpass, and we'll take a look at some of the other maps too, as I do believe I should have that in front of me somewhere, and indeed it is. So with that said, the picks here, and this is the first map pick, the pick from Vexxed, of course, is this going to be this map here onto Overpass. The second pick, Fnatic's pick, is going to be over on Train, and then the third map ended up going over to Cobble, as we saw that one. The bans, in case anybody is curious on that, we saw an order go of Vexxed banning out Mirage, Fnatic banned out Dust 2 after that, Vexxed banned out Cash, and then Fnatic banned out Inferno, and then we saw those picks, and of course Cobble being the final map in there. That's how we were left with that one, of course. But the knife round concludes. I'm pretty sure Fnatic won it, but I had to alt tab, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to assume that because they're still on the CT side that is going to be the case. So they're obviously going to get a little bit of a boost there. And again, a little bit of introduction to the teams in case anybody needs to know anything about them. Fnatic, I don't think there should really need an introduction for them, but obviously, it's Fnatic, so there's that. And then Vexxed, of course, with people not knowing so much about those guys. Previously known as the team by eBattle, in case anybody watched the Major, recently went over an organizational change. I think I'm pretty sure they might have changed out like 1 or 2 players, but I could be wrong on that one too, as unfortunately I haven't had the opportunity to spectate these guys, really watch too many of their games as of yet, so I'm not 100% certain on the roster. We'll talk a little bit more about them in a moment as the pistol round is going away here, and Vexxed going for a quick take into the B site. They take control fast too. Not a whole lot of defense coming in there from Fnatic, but as we can see here now, Olofmeister is going to be able to pick up another kill back over here as he takes down one of the players here. That'll be Rallen falling down. There's a flank coming out from JW, so he might be able to do a nice amount of impact damage as he comes in from the back here in Furlan. He gets caught in a reload, but he picks up the kill anyway over on the JW. Pronax did find one back over by Water, but as he comes back in here, Peet's ready for him, and he's going to be able to shut him down. Leaves it down to just 2 on 2 now. Olofmeister a little bit low, but KRIMZ still at full HP. However, both these players from Vexxed are also very low too. Furlan's going to get lucky. He picks one up. KRIMZ gets the response, but unfortunately for him, that timer gets low. He goes for the Hail Mary on the defuse. Will he get it though? When he pushes through, he's trying to pick up the shot, but oh, he just gets that kill, and just barely we're going to see Vexxed sneaking through there with the pistol round victory, and they're going to start it off very well here, of course, now on the first map of Overpass. So there we go. They picked that one up, and that's a little bit interesting now because we talk a bit about Fnatic here, and they've definitely been having a little bit of a weak slump here. They've definitely been having a little bit of a weak slump here over some of the past few weeks. So Vexxed, of course, as well. Some of their players, of course, if those who weren't aware, were playing at the World Championships last weekend, and for the Polish roster, they had a pretty good run in that one. So maybe some of these players are getting a pretty big boost from that. Specifically, of course, those players being, I think, Piotr and Furlan from this roster were on the Polish team when they played over in Serbia last weekend, and they got a little bit of a nice boost from that, so I imagine they're going to be feeling good about their performance here, and we'll have to see just how well that sort of transitions itself into this game here now. But for Fnatic, of course, they've been struggling a little bit here and there, and Overpass as well, if I do remember correctly. Vexxed, at least with this current iteration of a roster, doesn't really have a whole lot of games panned up as of yet, but I think specifically just looking at some of their games, Overpass does tend to be one of their favorite maps. They're also a team that does tend to start off a lot better on that T side, so them not initially getting the CT side start is not the worst thing in the world. This is often the trend for a lot of those teams that are just starting off because they're still sort of figuring out how to work the CT side at the beginning, so they often have a little bit of trouble there, but that T side, a lot easier to get that organized for a new squad, so we often see them performing a lot better at the sort of the beginning era of their roster while they're still trying to work their way into the higher echelon of the tiers there. So with that said, of course, now Vexxed going to be able to put a little bit of damage over here on a JW as he also gets some intel off of this one, but overall, nothing too surprising. JW's going to pop right out, but immediately shut down after that one by Hyper, and that's going to take down one of the players from Fnatic already here. They're playing this very passively, but of course, with the timer getting as low as it is now, Vexxed are really going to have to just go right into this site. Thankfully, though, Fnatic, they don't really have any presence at all down here in the B site. The only player that's even in the area is going to be KRIMZ, but he's way back over here in CT Cubby, so we can't do much to block that one off. Although we are going to see what looked like a pretty decent nade going in there. It doesn't really end up doing all that much damage anyway. And a nice one comes back over here, hits KRIMZ right in the face, and that's going to bring him down to 47 HP. So that puts him very low. Fnatic again here, not with a whole lot they can do off of the second round. They tried to line themselves up directly to get in the way, and again, another nice shot comes out there to put some damage over onto Rallen, but overall, nothing else coming out here from the players. pronax sneaks through with 1 kill, but that looks like it may be the only one they're going to be able to pick up here, and even with that kill being picked up, Peet, I think, grabs the gun, so literally not losing any guns when you consider that Peet as well was also rolling with a Tech 9 to begin with, but actually, no, flusha somehow is able to pick up Peet anyways. He screws up a little bit there on the spray, but, of course, with flusha sticking around to get that kill, he's also going to go down to the bomb explosion, so he's not going to stay alive with anything either, but that was a fairly light buy, too, when you look at Fnatic's into that one, so they're just going to take it nice and easy here, not really forcing the envelope. We saw a couple deagles coming out from them that time, so they are probably still going to go for pretty much the full save here in the 3rd round, but that's to be expected here at this point. Not really anything needed to push the envelope, at least at this point in time. As again, we're in a best of 3 well here, so it's not like a best of 1 where you need to sort of desperately try to keep things as close as possible so that you can ensure, of course, you don't really end up flubbing out there in the best of 1 formats that often happen. No reason to worry as of yet, just play it nice and steady, and they should be good to go. So Fnatic actually takes up this 3 stack over here in the lower tunnels, and this could be very good because, as you see back over there, GruBy is actually looking to maybe jump right down into there, and that could be troublesome if he basically runs into the Hornet's nest. But Rallen as well pushes forward over here to the connector stairs and catches a couple of these players. A nice spray coming out there from Furlan along with that grenade too, so it does some damage. This Molly's perfectly placed. They're all trapped inside, and it's just going to be Rallen that rolls down, picks up 2. GruBy comes in and finds the 3rd over onto KRIMZ to shut him down, and then he spots a 2nd one outside the door too. There'll be a nade that responds, but that's it as Furlan gets the flanked angle against flusha, so that's going to be able to take him down. Vexxed, after picking up the pistol, no trouble at all with those anti-eco rounds. Pretty clean with it too there, with a couple exceptions here. We are going to have to see Peet go for the big rifle upgrade as he goes over towards the op now, moving away from what I believe he was using an SMG before, so unfortunately a lot of his money is going to get tossed by the wayside. But for most of these other players, they've actually got quite a lot of money stacked up for themselves, so even if we see Fnatic pick up the 1st round here, with the guns in their hands, we could very well just see Vex respond directly after that one with another buy round of their own. It'd be a little bit forced potentially on 1 or 2 players, but I think it should still be in a fairly good position regardless, just because of all that money that they have stacked up at this point. But anyway, 4 positions being taken by Fnatic over here on long A, and it's actually going to pay off in a pretty big way. Hyper went for a pretty aggressive peek and is going to take some damage from that. 62 HP, as he's already been reduced down to at this point. Olofmeister over there on that jump spot too, trying to see if he can catch anybody over towards water, but for the time being here, most of Vexxed is definitely favoring something over towards that A site with the 3-man stack moving over towards A long. And a bit unfortunate too for Fnatic, because we just had KRIMZ and I believe flusha in the area moving towards that, but now they're going to go down to short A. This does, however, open to the potential for a flank, but it looks like we could see some Vex players moving down there too. But a nice boost comes out from Fnatic. JW is going to be sitting up there. He's got eyes on the bathroom. Might be able to catch this player from connector too. That would be GruBy as he works his way out, but he ducks and he doesn't even see him. He's going to creep right by, and he even looks away too by the window. I think he spotted him that time though, and he's now going to go for the spray down, but he can't connect it, so JW not going to be able to find that early kill that they were hoping to grab. And now they have to know that there's at least 2 players in that area too, so a nice info pickup comes up from the players on Vexxed here, and there's no trade on it from Fnatic whatsoever here. But regardless, the time has been brought so low, so this take from Vexxed has to be absolutely perfect. They're going to go in. Rallen picks up that kill over onto JW. Rotations are on the way from Fnatic, but they're already moving in to take control of the site. Olofmeister, though, in the enemy's area now as he pushes in, but he can't pick anything up, and Furlan's also going to be able to sneak up another kill over here onto pronax as well. Finally, flusha picking up something, but still, it's a 2-on-4. No utility left in Fnatic's toolkit here, and they don't have anything left to work with. So as we can see, there's a couple players on Vexxed that have gotten themselves down pretty low when you look at Hyper, Rallen, and as well as GruBy there, but beyond that, there's nothing else that these players can try to work with at this point, so it's not even going to be worth it to work their way back in. They've got to sit back, they've got to try to save. Olofmeister, of course, still being at full HP with armor. He can stick around there pretty close to the bomb without risking it, but he's just going to wait to see if anybody tries to exit from that angle. Won't be happening, so no additional trades are probably going to end up happening at this point. But that will be Vexxed once again now, picking up the 4th point. That will be 4-0 now in their favor here, and a very, very confident lead going up against Fnatic. Thankfully, though, Fnatic do save 2 of those rifles, but still, of course, as the trend often goes here, not going to allow the rest of the players to go for any sufficient buy-ups here. And in terms of utility, when you take a look at what they have here, it's not going to be much. So Vexxed pretty much has an open ball game as far as trying to work any kind of take they want to go for here. 2 smokes for the entire team, and I imagine at least one of those, as we can already see, is going to be used very early in the round to block off a push angle. So now they've only got 1, and that's going to be over over here on flusha down in the B site, and if we do see Vexxed just going right back up to the park push to get themselves onto A, there won't be anything to stop that. JW, though, push forward. No armor in this Deagle. Gotta pick up some big shots. Not gonna be able to connect. Takes a little bit of damage, and now they know he's there, so they're gonna be a lot more cautious with that. A perfect flash on a JW. He does manage to sneak through with one over there on the peet before falling, but still, it ends up getting straight out, and he doesn't find out a whole lot from that play either, so it's not gonna be too good. Pronax, though, with a nice little pop there, ends up taking Furlan down to just 24 HP as he connects. I believe that's gonna be a headshot there. Not enough to kill him, though, but still some nice damage being done. He might be able to finish him off right here, too, if he can catch him just behind, I believe, those fools there, but Furlan's gonna end up getting the better edge of that one, so we will see that kill claimed once again here by the members of Vexxed. Still nothing traded out by Fnatic just yet except for that kill over on the peet, and now we can see here that Hyper might be trying to make his way over onto that A site in a second, at least try to cause some noise, but down here on the site itself, KRIMZ is sitting inside of water. Could have a mean flank, because it does look like Vexxed are going to line up for a pretty big push, solidifying all their players together. But in a second there, yep, we're going to have olofmeister. He is going to manage to sneak through with that kill over on the Hyper at the very least, as unfortunately, Hyper gets caught on an off angle, but still, as they move in to take control of this site, there's not a lot to hold it. Flushes down in the pit, thankfully picks up the first kill. It's one of the first times I actually see them get the opening trade, but that plant's going to come out here now too. However, flusha gets the angle, Furlan gets the trade, but is so low from that earlier pop from KRIMZ. He is going to be able to finish him off nice and easily there. So now we've got Fnatic, and on what was only with only 2 rifles in the entire arsenal too, so that's a pretty big rounds to see away from them considering how well Vexxed had been doing previously. But Fnatic are finally going to be able to get themselves onto the board at this point, putting them at a 1-4 scoreline. Still, whoopsie daisy, that's not good. CS crash, guys, so give me just a moment. But to continue the chat here while we are waiting to get ourselves back into the game. Come on. That is still going to be a pretty good round for those guys to steal away. So let me see if I can get back into the game here. Thankfully, I've got the IP in my paste bin. I've just got to hide that really quickly so you guys don't see that, and then we'll get ourselves right back into the game. And like I said, guys, I'm working this as fast as I can here. I do apologize for that, but we're back into it now, and give me just a second. I gotta hide the net graph. I know, you all hate me. Alright, let's go back in. Oh my goodness. Alright, give me a second, guys. Sorry. CS is not cooperating with me at the moment. Alright, we're back. I do apologize once again, folks. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. That's a pretty common bug with OBS and CS not really liking each other, so that crash happens pretty often for me and a couple other people that I'm aware of, producers. So that is going to, however, we'll see Fnatic picking up the second point after that. So you guys only missed 1 round there. And that's going to be one that, of course, still leaves Vexxed with a decent sum of cash. I wasn't in the match for most of that round, so I can't really tell what ended up transpiring, but I'm going to assume they went for their buy-up directly after that one, as they should have had, at the very least, a decent amount of cash summed up there. But this is good now as Fnatic get themselves back onto the treadmill as far as picking up these round scores is concerned, and, you know, their money's going to look pretty good at this point as well. A nice shot from olofmeister to open things up here for Fnatic now. He's going to pick up the first kill over there onto Furlan, and a nade goes deep, does some good damage over there to Rallen as well. It's already some good impact being made in Rallen, man. He's just not getting lucky at all with these nade shots that come out there. That's going to bring him down to just 26. Vexxed sitting at 62, or apologies, GruBy sitting at 62 as well. flusha going to look for a pickup there. It's a bit of a risky one as he's dropped down to 15 HP, but it does regardless net him 1 more kill here for the players on Fnatic with no trades at all coming out from Vexxed. The only hope for them at this point would be Hyper, that's sitting over here and is to some degree flanking upper, because that's going to draw a little bit of attention away, but I think it would have been much better off of being worked as a flank or something like that, because now JW knows where he's at, and in about 3 seconds here, he's going to have a op shot right into his back. A little bit longer than 3 seconds as he manages to go further, but he catches him just too late, unfortunately, and JW is going to be able to pick up that frag over onto Hyper at that point. So now it's Rallen and Vexxed. Again, still not really a whole lot they can work for at this point. To be honest, they might just want to try to sit back and save because they're even separated now, but there's the kill coming out there from Rallen to pick one up there. The response comes out from KRIMZ, of course, to take down GruBy, and Rallen finds a second, but JW's in the right place at the right time. He's going to be able to take them out. 2 kills do come out near the end, and considering the rest of the way that round ended up going there, it's not bad at all that we managed to see Vexxed pick up at the very least those 2 kills with all things considered, but still, now with that 4-0 lead and then suddenly sort of tossing things by the wayside to put it into a 3-4 advantage, or put it into a 3-4 almost an advantage now for Fnatic, then that's not going to be too good, as basically they've just evenly traded out those rounds, and now they've only got 1 gun round in their pocket, and this is going to be a walkover round for Fnatic, because you look at Vexxed, they don't really have anything at this point, and even an aggressive position being taken by JW. He might actually end up in a little bit of trouble here as he tries to run away. He gets some nice damage out with that nade before he falls down, and we can even see their true KRIMZ getting a piece of the action, but KRIMZ is going to come in. He does get shot in the head, so he's down to 15, and that's going to be Vexxed as peet finishing him off there, but olofmeister comes in, sprays down 2 more immediately after that, and it's all in the hands of GruBy at this point. Not completely out of the picture, though. When you look at it, it's a 1-on-2. He's got players moving in from separate angles, so all he's got to do is win these 2 separate 1 versus 1s, but doesn't choose to use the op in the duel versus pronax, so he's going to get the much easier time. The op gets recovered by Fnatic, and now we will indeed be tied up, but thankfully Vexxed, of course, their economy is still in a decent enough position to where we can see Vexxed go immediately for their next buy up here. They only have to save 1 time, so they go right into it. They should be able to grab an op too if they want to. Yep, that's going to go right into the hands of peet there as he goes for that buy, and then same thing for Fnatic, of course. They really solidified themselves. They were still having a little bit of trouble having enough to buy up the full utility kit, but now they've gotten to that point as well. So no trouble in the world for them, and overall this is just a good solid defense. Fnatic taking a little bit of time, I believe, to get their feet on the ground. It's been a long time since these 2 teams have played each other. I believe the last time these 2 faced each other in a direct public matchup was on like August 20th or something like that, and I think that was at the major. So unfortunately these 2 haven't met each other in a while, and I imagine these first couple rounds might have just been a little bit of a mess up there from Fnatic, but I imagine these first couple rounds might have just been Fnatic trying to figure out what the strategy is going to be from Vexxed on this T side, and trying to properly position their players to attempt to counter that one out, as you often do sometimes see that against teams that haven't faced each other before. Peet with a nice shot there. JW tries to take the peek from Flower Box and is going to miss his shot, so Peet gets the response. That's going to add another one onto the board here for the players from Vexxed. Fnatic as well, very, very mobile about their CT side, as you can see, moving all around the map, getting themselves into these positions, trying to find out where Vexxed is, trying to open up these flank angles here too, and Vexxed trying to do their best to close that off and get themselves onto the site, but they're playing a very, very slow T side, basically the exact opposite of what Fnatic is doing at this point, and as they creep forward, they're giving Fnatic so much time to line up stacks and positionings like that, that unfortunately those kills are going to keep happening. Thankfully, GruBy sets up the trap there after his teammate falls down, but still, now it's just 2 left alive. pronax even casually taking down Rallen as he tries to creep his way into that site there, so he's going to be able to shut him down, and now GruBy as well. He's completely trapped. He's going to have a pronax in his face, and right behind him in a few seconds here, we are going to be seeing KRIMZ. He does pick up one of them, but now as well, he's going to push forward, and flusha is going to be able to finish him off. So there's Fnatic picking up the 5th point. They now take the lead against Vexxed, and I think that so far has sort of been the biggest problem for Vexxed. I'm not sure if it's just a lack of confidence or something else here, but they really seem to want to play this very slow, very methodical T side, and while that can work great with the way that Fnatic is countering this out, and with the way that Fnatic is playing the CT side, just pushing directly into them, unfortunately, it doesn't really seem like that's going to end up working out too well, because in a lot of the aim battles here, it seemed at the beginning when Vexxed were trying to be a little bit more straightforward with their pushes that they were doing a good job of taking down Fnatic's players, but now that they're trying to sit back and wait for them, it's definitely Fnatic almost always coming out on top here. But this will be another eco round for Vexxed, of course, so not expecting anything too crazy from them. Already having quite a few kills going by the way of Fnatic. One did get traded back out over onto JW, but it's olofmeister pushed over here into short A. That's just racking him up. He even gets a nice nade in there to bring that last player down very low and finishes him off, so that's going to be a 4K from olofmeister. Picking up 4 there easily, just rushing right in. Not super duper impressive, of course, because it's the eco round, but still, considering that Vexxed players were sort of all over the place, that's still a nice little round for him to get there going. So now Fnatic finally ahead, and finally, confidently ahead, I should mention here too at this point, and much more so than Vexxed ever were, unfortunately, when you take a look again. Is looking at the overall money. flusha absolutely insane, and that definitely aligns with the death counter too, as he's sitting at 11.4k, easily ahead of his next teammates, but everybody else not too bad either. We've got a couple more floating between the 7 and 9k marks, and there's JW with an opening shot as well to get right into the action. He's going to shut down Peet, the Omper from Vexxed, looking for a second. He's going to find it, falls back, not expecting that push to come into bathroom connector though, so Rallen at the very least is going to be able to pick up this kill, and Furlan rolls right in. He's going to find one over onto pronax, but thankfully KRIMZ is there to cover, and olofmeister as well will move in over here towards bathroom connector, shut down the final player from Vexxed. And that is going to be very well handled by Fnatic. Mainly, of course, the victory of that round coming off of the hands of JW, picking up those nice 2 kills at the beginning to give his team the advantage. We had a couple trades coming out after that point, but the damage had already been done, and Vexxed, of course, was left with 2 players down, and those even trades weren't going to be enough at this point. I think Rallen had a chance to maybe bring it back when he worked his way into connector, but got caught very off guard by that player right inside of the door, and then also to deal with one that was up on the steps. Tried to transfer the spray, but didn't really go so well. So, this is good now from Vexxed, though, as they're going to go back to this sort of straightforward push into the sites. There's a lot of utility to work against, though, which they didn't have to deal with it last time, so this is going to be a little bit more of a problem, but nonetheless it works. There's a great flash that goes into the pit, completely blinds flusha, and now they go right back to the old strats, and it works perfectly. They get control of the B site. Fnatic are nowhere in here. They're trying to work a flank. KRIMZ is in a very good position in a few moments, but GruBy holds his own just over here from within the pit, and there's Rallen. He's going to take out KRIMZ over by Monster, and now it's just 2 left from Fnatic here. pronax falls, and now all on JW. He's way up in heaven. Can't connect that shot completely over there, I believe, over onto, I think that's going to be Hyper at this point, and he as well going to play the game, takes him down. Everybody from Vexxed stays alive and well, and they even get a free hop for their troubles off of that one. So a great round from Vexxed, and that's the thing, such a small change up in the strategy works out so great for them. They've been trying to just take it slow. They've been trying to bait out these Fnatic players to push into them, and while that's definitely been working, at least in that regard, when it comes time to fight, they haven't really been there that well. So that's going to be a good round from those guys. They pick it up, and that was exactly the change I think we needed to see coming out from Vexxed now. But the question at this point is going to be, how will Fnatic counter this? How is Fnatic going to look to stop it? And it's going to be through just pure blind aggression, to be completely honest here. JW and KRIMZ already pushed over towards the fountain, and Vexxed again go back to this very, very slow push. As they try to work their way out, there's JW, already picks up 1. He's going to have KRIMZ getting into position, but unfortunately the coverage is just not there, so we're going to see Rallen and Furlan picking up 2 kills that will be completely unresponded to, so that first one that they picked up before on a GruBy is going to mean absolutely nothing. They still don't know where the bomb is. They still have absolutely no clue how many players. They know at least 2, obviously, have come up there outside of the upper tunnels, but beyond that, of course, anything could change at that point. So for Fnatic, they have absolutely 0 intel, and now they're down a man at this point too, so Vexxed could just line up a 4-man push on one of these sites, and it should be easy pickings for them no matter where they go, as Fnatic cannot evenly spread those players. One site's going to be weaker than the other regardless of what happens, unless they keep a floater in between, and even then that's going to leave it into a 1-player site hold for everybody, and the other one will be a couple seconds behind the rest. Vexxed, though, do decide at the very least to do a little bit of a delayed push over here into the B site. Now, flusha, trying to time this nade perfectly. We'll see. It goes in. That should do a lot of damage. And indeed, look at that Hyper Peet, as well as Rallen, all going to get dropped down between 60 and 50 HP. So that's a great pickup from those guys. Flusha trying to hang out in the pit, but there's so much pressure coming his way. Finds one, though, and now olofmeister in the play as well. He's going to be able to take down Furlan as they work their way in. Hyper finally getting a response over on a pronax, but olofmeister's pushed over here to the safe plant spot. They don't want to see him at all, and he's going to come in. Flusha shuts it down, and that's a great hold from Fnatic to bring it back from a 3-on-4. They shut it down, and now maintain their lead in a very, very big way here, as we're going to get very close now to the end of our first half. Just 2 more rounds left to go. Vexxed has been holding pretty strong at this point, and remember, too, that this is a fairly CT-sided map, so we do expect Fnatic to pick up around those 9 to 10 rounds, especially against a team like Vexxed, who's been fairly untested against Tier 1 European teams as of this point as well. But they're doing very well for themselves, and this isn't a bad half for Vexxed at all, especially considering the way that they started off. A little bit of a bump in the road, of course, with plenty of those rounds being picked up by Fnatic, but they've been able to swing it back a little bit more and pick up a couple rounds for themselves here too, so it's not the end of the war for these guys just yet. That CT side is definitely going to get a little bit rough, I do believe, but if they can piece it together and work it against Fnatic's own aggression, then they may yet have a chance to bring this one back into their favor. We will see, of course. Those Fnatic seem to have their feet planted pretty firmly on the ground at this point, and it's definitely going to be hard to dismount them once they've gotten to that position. So for Fnatic, they move a lot of their players back onto that A site, and they try to go for a full hold there, but a great pickup opener here from Peet is going to be able to take down. Maybe that's going to be olofmeister that ends up falling. And as for the rest of Vexxed here too, we take a look at how exactly they're going to be reacting to this opening kill, and more players trying to rotate in. They've got the number 9 man, Furlan, trying to make a lot of noise back down over here by the B side, and it's actually going to be GruBy that finds another kill over on a KRIMZ as well to pick him off. Fnatic are trying to get aggressive, though, to get a couple more trades at the very least off upon this, but the smoke comes out there, pronax lined up. They might try to go for, this boost again, but they're still very, very separated. Unfortunately, one is to watch long A there, and 2 is they've been favoring that quite a bit. But Vexxed are going to decide now to work their way down here, and even so, the player from Bathrooms killed, so they don't even know it's coming to be. Now they know, of course, those flusha gets it all into his face. Finds 2, though, and he survives the encounter with just 3 HP. JW is now going to come down. He finds another one over on the Rallen, and now it's even, but these players from Fnatic are so low. Flusha sitting at 3 HP, JW at 13, but there's flusha with 1, and now everything in the hands of Furlan at this point, and with only 5 seconds left, the force plant's going to come out. Fnatic knows this, of course, so JW uses as a free way to jump down, and oh no! What a disaster from Vexxed. They had everything they needed to win out that round, and they don't execute upon it. An absolutely monster hold from flusha to survive that encounter with 3 HP after picking up 2 kills, and then to find an additional one as well after JW comes in for the support. That's going to be a huge pickup for those guys, and a round that, to be completely honest, Fnatic definitely should not have grabbed. And now they're going to, at the very least, end this one with 9 points. Vexxed, of course, with the buyout, but look at their utility. They've got 4 smokes they can work and take, but post plants are going to get rough. They don't have any mollies or anything to force repositions, so the smokes will be great, but they're going to have to work against the confusion of itself there if they try to go for a smoke wall within one of these sites here. And that could get very, very bad indeed. And, you know, even flashes, they're fairly limited on that. They've only got 2 flashes, I believe, with, you know, a couple decoys, but let's be honest, decoys aren't really going to do that much unless you're absolutely amazing or whoever you're playing against isn't very intelligent at all. So, with keeping that in mind, and the fact that they're playing Fnatic, I don't think that the intelligence factor is going to be a problem for them. And now we do see them trying to creep up. They pick up that opening kill and again catch some aggression, but are they ready for the second kill? JW trapped in between, finds one, almost gets the lineup, but thankfully he's going to get shut down there by Hyper before he can find anything else. That's going to prevent disaster on the Vexxed side of things as they try to bring back this round once again, but still Fnatic slowly trying to creep in onto these players. Pronax checking out the short A approach right now. Over here, might be able to catch one on birthday party. He sees it. I don't think Vexxed saw them either, but at the same time, no one else is going to come from this angle, so he's free to move in here. The only player that would stop him at this point would be Furlan, and if he takes him down, that's going to open up the flank angle, but no, Furlan finds the kill over there on the Pronax. That's going to shut him down, and the rest of the team are now going to be on their way over onto that A site now as they take it. Even olofmeister is pushed forward here, potentially to take on Furlan in a second, but that's going to leave the site completely exposed. flusha, of course, is going to be on the rotate, but he's going to be way too slow with this, and olofmeister now knows the mistake he's made of getting off site. That potentially allows the retake to happen, and of course, they're going to be able to jump Furlan, but however, olofmeister picks up those 2 kills, looking for the third, but playing it safe for now as he gets brought down a little bit lower. flusha coming back into the picture too. He finds the kill onto GruBy, and again, they've turned this back around. 10 seconds left, they're forced to plant. Vexxed bring that timer down so low, and now he's trapped. He's got no time to get into a post plant position. He's got to look for these big headshots there, and he can't get it. We're going to see flusha moving in from the dumpster. It shuts him down. And Fnatic, although they don't start off this half too well, they bring it back in a very nice way, and they're going to end things 10-5 in their favor. And as we switch sides, of course, some big key things here just to look at as we're ending the half. Vexxed, the big problems for them was trying to play that slow T side. They really wanted to do that, but unfortunately it would just never work out. All the rounds they did very well on, and we can see that too, that for these first 3 rounds, of course, they get those kind of for free after picking up the pistol. The 4th was a great execution there, and it went in so quickly over onto the site itself. The same thing happened here on round number 12 when they were able to sneak through with that round, and just look at it, they survived with 5 players, no kills coming out from Fnatic. Unfortunately, the problem came in that when they tried to play all of these rounds super slowly, the timer either got way too low, as we saw in the past couple rounds, or, unfortunately, Fnatic, with their own aggression on the CT side, were just able to move in and constantly win those engagements, which is why they took so many rounds, and which is why Vexxed ended up falling a little bit short here. However, now we switch the sides. This is also going to be the harder one for Vexxed to work for, in my opinion, as, again, haven't really been tested too much against Fnatic as of yet, so they don't really know what to expect, besides doing research and whatnot. Not a lot of practical practice, for lack of a better term for that. However, Fnatic, again, moving it very quickly over here through the bathrooms to move in, but there is a shutdown for Furlan. JW did pick up a kill just before that, I believe over on long A, as he's going to be able to find one. Actually, I apologize, that's going to happen a little bit further down over with the rest of the team towards the bathrooms, with the rotations coming very quick. There's olofmeister with another quick pickup there. He's going to be able to drop Furlan. Looks for another one as Rallen tries to rotate through that smoke to get himself to a semi-position, but he leaves himself in the open there, doesn't even realize it, so he gives another kill over to olofmeister, and now they're going to work their way in. GruBy looking for a couple shots. There's a lot of close action that's going to happen, but they work in. There's 2 kills from Vexxed there. GruBy going to pick them up, but now it's an even fight once again, but the angles are so hard to work against. They don't even know that one of these players is back over by the bank, so olofmeister's going to be able to grab one. KRIMZ finds a second, and Fnatic is going to pick up the pistol round here to respawn after Vexxed stole their own back over on their T side. So 11-5 now. Fnatic definitely have a very big edge, and this is extremely unfortunate for Vexxed too. As a 10-5 situation, I think you really have to lean on picking up that pistol, as well as the second round too, which can oftentimes, and I think in this case, be even more important than the first round, depending on what kind of buy the losing team goes for there. They really needed to hinge on picking up those first 2 rounds, but it just doesn't go their way. They might be able to, I mean, I highly doubt that they're going to win this first eco round. When you take a look at what they've brought into it, they've got 2 deagles, a P250 armor buy up over here onto Hyper, but there's just nothing else being added to the mix here as far as this is concerned, and even for those players with deagles that might be able to get lucky with a couple of shots, they've got no armor, so they can't take a direct engagement. They're going to have to rely on angle advantage or just getting lucky on their peaks here. However, GruBy as well as rallen, they hold strong. They pick up 2 for 1 as that gets traded out, so still keeping things even as far as the trades are concerned. Furlan looking for another one too, but the flank comes out from olofmeister back over there through water into construction, and that's going to pick up another kill here too. Peet looking for the shots up from heaven, but only getting lit up there once again, and that armor disadvantage is not going to be helping him. And as well, again, the timer for rallen there with that smoke specifically that time becomes a big problem as he's left wide out in the open. The smoke fades and is like, well, damn it, I'm kind of a dead man now. And yeah, exactly as that happened, Fnatic just spray him down as he can't respond to any of that, which is a measly little USP. However, not surprised at all to see Fnatic picking up the second round, considering it was a pretty preservative buy coming out there from Vexxed. Same thing is going to be had here in this third round, and then they'll just focus on the fourth. And that's actually going to put a lot of emphasis on this fourth round here, because potentially speaking, when we take a look at this here, that's going to set Fnatic up, unless we see a miracle come out here from Vexxed, that's going to set Fnatic up for 13-5, putting them only, in reality here, and that's a good pickup from KRIMZ early on too. That peak should not, or that stack should not have stayed there for that long. Because this is going to put it up to the 13th point for Fnatic. If we don't see the gun round victory from Vexxed, and that's putting them at 14, and Vexxed more than likely on a very limited force buy or an eco. And unfortunately for them, there's not going to be too big of a chance for them to pick that one up there, so we absolutely have to see them come out on top on that next gun round. Otherwise, this first map is going to be more than likely GG, and we'll be going by the way of Fnatic by a fairly large margin, leaving Vexxed with no rounds probably over here on the second half on their CT side. And as we expected, obviously a very tough half for them, but at this point, of course, just looking at Fnatic cleaning things up. KRIMZ with easy 3 kills there to end the round for his team, and that is going to put them up to exactly as we expected to see, 13-5, and the buyout now comes out from Vexxed, and it's going to go for everything that they can throw into this one, and they know just how crucial this round is going to be. A couple of M4s, 4 M4s to be exact, along with the op over here on to Peet to work with. And this is an interesting story when we take a look at Peet and look at him compared to the rest of the team at this point. Hasn't really had a chance to shine as of yet, oftentimes just, or more than likely I should say, just because of the problems that often end up surfacing from a T-sided op where they have those confidence issues, or they can't really get too lucky with their initial opening peaks there, so they have trouble really performing that well. And also, I don't really think we saw him picking up the op ball that often, to be honest. I think we definitely saw it in a couple rounds when they were sitting in a good economical position, but for the most part, unfortunately, they either weren't really in too good of a spot to buy him an op, or it just wasn't going to be feasible. But now he's on the CT side, and that's always the better side for the oppers to work against, so maybe he might be able to surprise us a little bit here, and he's absolutely going to have to bring up some big kills. There's going to be quite a few players from Fnatic coming his way, and with his current position, he's going to leave himself very, very overexposed. Able to correct that, though, get himself behind the sign on the site. And again, now calling for a couple more reinforcements as we are going to see rallen rotating up to assist. The real play will be happening on B, of course, for those who are checking out the minimap. We've got 2 that are going to be pushing in there, and 3 moving in, at least going to throw in some nades here, and then could rotate down into connector. 2 are going to commit. There's a great peek from Peet, though, as he picks up 1, finds a second, but now the rotation has to come down, and they actually called them off. They're trying to get more onto the A side. As you can see, Hyper was going to rotate off, and now he's at a position. He tries to get himself into pit, but the opener comes out here from pronax now. He's going to be able to pick down GruBy, and of course, the smoke along with the plant comes out from flusha now, too. However, they're down player here, and Vexxed managed to maintain. They haven't pushed this too aggressively for the time being, and look at that shot from rallen! Catches flusha through the smoke somehow, so that's going to bring him down. pronax is trying to hold, but Hyper's going to be able to eliminate him, and now it's all in the hands of KRIMZ trying to clutch this out. Can't find the spray. Brings one of those players down very low. That's going to be Hyper, but it's not enough. And a great retake comes out from Vexxed there. That combined with a beautiful hold from Peet up on the A site with the hold prevents a flank avenue from being opened up and basically prevents that round from being lost right from the beginning of it. So they hold. They don't get too aggressive at the very beginning of that take that came out from Fnatic. They just wait for their opportunity to retake, and it plays itself out beautifully. And that shot from rallen through the smoke too. What a big pickup from him. And now a round escaped here. Vexxed will keep themselves in this game for the time being, but now it's about maintaining it, because now they get themselves into that very, very dodgy position of their economy. You know, they're not going to have that losing bonus anymore if they drop this round, and with Fnatic being so close to just picking themselves up here and winning this map altogether, 3 rounds away. And if Vexxed drop this round right here, it could just be a sign of a GG. But this flank comes out along with Peet. Look at this dual play coming out from the Vexxed players now. And that's a perfectly timed push from Furlan. Nobody watching the fountain steps pushing up onto these guys. And now they're going to lose a player. And some nice damage also goes over here onto olofmeister. Actually finishes him off. Rallen's going to get a beautiful nade toss over there. That's going to shut him down. And what a great opening play from Vexxed too. They give the Fnatic players a taste of their own medicine from the first half, and now they've been shut down. They're down to just 3 players left, and they've made no momentum at all here in terms of pushing things everywhere. Vexxed has pretty much complete control. Unfortunately, KRIMZ is going to be able to pick up an opening kill over here finally for Fnatic. Back over onto Furlan, as I believe he was expecting the play to come down through Birthday Party and over towards Short A, but they're not going to be able to find it there just as of yet. And when we take a look here at Rallen 2, he's going to meet a little bit of trouble in a second as flusha may end up pushing in towards him. The other 2 from Fnatic as well, trying to line themselves up for that long A push, and peet has a little tiny angle to look through here. Definitely not going to be too confident of a push though, so I don't think it'll be worth it to stick around wide out in the open, especially if the timing comes out for Fnatic to push this once the smoke fades away. So he's going to get himself behind Semi. The smoke comes in, and again, now he knows the play is coming his direction, so it's going to be him and Rallen trying to hold initially. More should be on the way here over the next few seconds, but JW and flusha find the opening 2 kills over on peet and Rallen. Hyper's going to move right in. He picks up 1 kill, looking for another as this flash comes out. He's going to get aggressive and push directly into this. Finds another on the flusha, looking for the last one that's sitting back over here. It's all going to be on KRIMZ to hold this 1-on-2 at this point, but perfect timing on the smoke fading out there for GruBy. He comes right over there from the steps, finishes him off nice and easily, and sad KRIMZ is sad as, unfortunately for Fnatic, they're not going to be able to take this round. They get very close, of course, with a nice entry that comes over there onto the A site, but it's not enough to hold it at the end of the day. So Vexxed maintain, they keep themselves into this game, and I mean, overall not too good on keeping the players alive. That could be a problem for them in the long run of this one too, as if Fnatic plays it very close. I already talked about the economy problem here for the players on Vexxed, is that they need to try and build up something, they need to try and really try to build up a good amount of bank for themselves here, so that if Fnatic do come back with a round or 2 before Vexxed can keep it nice and close, then unfortunately for them, then they aren't really going to be in too good of an economical position to continue the buy up and keep the pressure on. They'll be reduced down right back onto another eco for themselves, and Fnatic should be able to easily close out 1, 2, and potentially that 3rd round that they need from that point forward as well, with Vexxed having all the trouble in the world getting their economy back to a good point where they can afford to buy like they have going now. That can hold off Fnatic. But Fnatic here too, you can tell after their first couple round pickups here, they've actually gotten quite low on the cash flow too, so they're keeping themselves into this game through the buy-ups, but not expecting too much to come out from them. And now they try to line up this bit of a push. Could still go either way when we take a look at it, but it's definitely favoring B at its current point in time, with olofmeister keeping his eyes on the connector. Door opens up, no shot taken, and olofmeister's going to spot that. So again, they've got the idea that this should be a pretty default setup as far as the defense is concerned from Vexxed. Not really that they would expect anything else, but as they try to work their way out, there's a great amount of response grades that come out there from Vexxed. It's going to hold them back, but pronax finds the opener anyways. He works his way in. GruBy's going to get a response as he pushes in, but still so much damage coming onto some of these players from Fnatic. It's going to be trouble getting into that site. flusha finds another one with a Galil. He's going to take down Furlan, and that smoke holding off a lot, but we can see flusha. He moves it anyway, takes out another kill. That's going to take down Rallen. The plant comes in, and now Fnatic have to try and hold out here with these players being so low on HP. GruBy finds one, can't pick up the second, as I believe that's going to be pronax retreating through monster. JW's back over here behind the sandbags too. He's got the angle on the bomb, but the timing has to be perfect, as now pronax is also going to join him from the same avenue here. As these players from Vexxed push in, the nade comes in, and one of them's going to go down, and we can see there that we'll have JW pick up the 1 kill. GruBy gets the response, and that timer getting low. pronax just is to toy with GruBy a little bit here. He's up to 3 kills, needs to get the 4th. He's on the defuse. That smoke's fading too, but pronax goes for the reload, so he's going to be close, and he picks up the defuse there. pronax doesn't think he's going to do it, but GruBy's able to sneak through with that one, and Vexxed are just barely, again, just like that first pistol round, they're going to sneak through, but this time the defuse comes off as a success, and they pick up their 8th point here now, growing closer and closer to tying it up against Fnatic, but still, not a lot of players make it through that round. They survive, of course, because of the fact that they do still win the round. But for the players on Fnatic, they're still doing a good job of doing a nice amount of damage. But this is a great comeback potential from Vexxed now. 3 close nail-biter rounds in a row. All they've got to do now is keep that momentum going, keep that train rolling, break Fnatic, because that's another thing here too, is Fnatic has really been trying hard to just buy right through all this that they can. There's been a couple saves here and there, but for the most part, Fnatic have been able to keep themselves fairly strong in this half in terms of what they've been able to bring to the table for their buy-ups now. So, on round number 22, Fnatic trying to work this 5-man take with one back over here towards short A approach. Over here onto the B site, and they're already making progress on it too. 1-for-1 trade, as well as Hyper and GruBy picking up those 2 kills, but back over on A, JW is also going to pick up a kill, and peet gets the response over there onto himself there as well. So there's only going to be 1 kill gain, and up and close here is going to be KRIMZ. Unfortunately, Hyper was a little bit too slow in the trigger, so he's not going to be able to save his teammate, but now we go into a pause, and I believe that this pause is coming out. This is actually coming out from Rallen this time. So this is an interesting one, because now they're ahead, but I think at this point, too, the discussion might end up being, you can look at the money specifically onto Rallen. Things are looking a little bit dire, so he's probably going to get dropped, I believe, either by Hyper or peet. I would assume peet would be the best one to do it, but looking at what Hyper's brought to the table, It might just be, yep, he's going to get tossed an AK from somebody else. And the rest of the guys should be good. So, keeping this in mind and taking a look as to why exactly they're pausing. I'm not sure what the call is coming out, if this is just them trying to rally themselves around, or there could also just be a technical issue. Unfortunately, without getting further context from the players, we don't really know. But as I said before, oh yeah, it's a tech issue. So Furlan's going to need a moment, I believe, to try and fix that, but he should be able to fix it pretty quickly, and then we'll just resume with the game. But Fnatic actually struggling quite a bit here with trying to get themselves onto the site. The big thing here now from Vexxed, at least looking at their CT side, is the responses from them have just been so quick, and when we're looking at the overall half here from them, I mean, it starts off great, of course, as we generally expect, picking up the first 3 rounds after that pistol, and that pistol, again, so close as far as it's been concerned. But yeah, I mean, it's almost an exact repeat of the last half there too. They're not even able to escape the first gun round. Vexxed are able to respond almost immediately after this one, and they pick up 4 rounds in a row now. And I mean, although they're still keeping quite a few players down, as these rounds have been extremely close in terms of people left alive, with the exception of that first one, that last one I think was definitely a little bit more in the favor of Vexxed than the players left alive ends up showing there. They survived it with 2 players, but they had confident control of that the entire time. That 1-on-2 was going to be very hard to pull off. And overall, although the trades were very nice that came out from Fnatic, and this is something that they still have to look forward to, is at this point in time, they're still going to basically break the economy from Vexxed with just 1 round pickup for themselves here. So that's something to look forward to. But anyway, we'll talk more about this in a second, as Pete's actually getting a lot of players in his face here, and the smoke comes out just in time. He's able to keep himself going, and they still haven't spotted him. He's still in that area. Look at this Furlan, the tag team, just cleaning him up right now. There's a shot to the face from Pete, and another one to finish it off. Oh my goodness, what was that from Fnatic? There wasn't much they could do to begin with, unfortunately, but a great play off of the hands of Vexxed players. And they just shut it down, and those are the rounds we need to see from Vexxed to get themselves back into this one now. Clean-cut rounds with very little deaths going by their players. This is going to be good, and now immediately you can see the money start to stack up on their end of this one now. Looking at the players from Fnatic here too, they go back into another buy this time around for themselves, of course, and now they've actually got to pick up a couple rounds themselves, as Vexxed are getting very close to closing this gap. This is a pretty consistent point for Vexxed now too, as even with that 1-round pickup, Vexxed are kind of getting themselves a little bit closer to maybe tying things up, potentially. Even if we do see Fnatic pick up a single round there, they might be able to struggle through this one. So Round's gonna get himself up on top. Can't find KRIMZ as of yet, but gets that spray, and it's not gonna be where it needs to be. So unfortunately, KRIMZ will escape with about 46 HP, but they do catch that rotate at the very least, so they can adjust their positions due to this one. Pete's already getting himself into bathroom connector. Gonna take a couple close range fights, but a great flick shot into JW. That's gonna shut him down. He's happy with this, so he moves back. Furlan in this smoke just outside of the bathrooms as well, and he's got a great flank onto these players. They have no clue where he is. He's gonna be a little bit loud, so they should have been able to hear him moving around, but it doesn't really look like they're too alerted to that as of this point here too, as they're trying to line up their smoke takes, and I'm not even sure if they're gonna be expecting this. Olofmeister running forward. He's gonna have to pull out that gun in a second, but Furlan might use this as a single push-up. Goes one, looks for the first one. Thankfully, Olofmeister gets behind cover. Another one jumps up, but he lines up all of them, and Furlan goes crazy. Vexxed picks up 3. Another round for themselves. Holy crap. And that's going to be an absolute shutdown. Fnatic, the strategy just falls apart there, because Furlan gets himself into that perfect position, and everything just goes right into his hands there. All the players from Fnatic either caught off of a jump or caught with nades in their hands. They can't work anything off of that, and it's just absolutely shut down, along with the earlier kills that have gone their way. And also, big props are from Vexxed too, to getting those players jumped up so that they're actually able to spot that rotation early. Had they have not have done that, that could have gone a completely different direction. Furlan may have not even known that there would have been players coming from the bathrooms, and he wouldn't have played that so sneakily. He might have just kind of walked around assuming he was safe, and that could have been a dead player for him. That could have opened up the take angle over onto the A site, and we could have seen that round go a completely different way. So that again goes very well from Vexxed from the beginning, because they're able to spot that rotate that comes up through connector. But now it's Fnatic's turn to find an opening kill here. Olofmeister picks up the first kill over onto Pete. That's going to drop the Opper, as he again tries to play a very close, very aggressive angle. I should correct myself to say he actually it actually doesn't look like he's got the op this time on the ground for himself. And actually, no, he might have it, as I think that's going into the hands of GW. Yep, he did have the op in his hands. So unfortunately, that's going to get lost. A little bit of damage kind of comes out of nowhere here, and I think they're trying to figure out where exactly that came from. I think that might have come from the player over on the A site there, that being Rallen at this point. So for the rest of Fnatic, though, they make this very slow, very cautious push. They know Furlan's here, but he's not going to get as lucky in this round, of course. They are going to be able to shut him down nice and quick. flusha almost picking up another kill, too, and he is going to finish it off there as he takes down Rallen over by Semi. Takes a lot of damage. He's got to be careful with that molly, but he is going to survive the encounter with his 2 HP. Hyper picks up 1, and again, is going to play it very cautiously himself, because now they're in a 2-on-4. He's got to wait for his teammate to rotate back in. But flusha now waiting for more of these guys to get themselves back into this one. Olofmeister's pushed pretty far forward, too. Just wants to play this nice up tight and close here for when those players push out from dumpsters. It's not going to be too confident of one. And again, keep in mind that economy situation from Vexxed here too. It's still not really in too good of a spot, so they might just want to try to sit back and save this. And olofmeister even realizes that they are probably going to be doing this, so he goes out, he looks for blood. I'm amazed he doesn't actually end up spotting GruBy here, as he's actually going to be able to sneak out and know the site's open for the taking. He's going to be able to sneak up and grab the bomb. He's going to run for it here. It's all going to be the hands of olofmeister to catch it in time, and no, they don't see it coming! GruBy's moved in, he's going to be able to sneak this one, and he's going to get it! Oh my goodness, flusha can't even get the spray down! And what a fail from flusha! Oh my god! Vexxed, again, they get another round, and now they're just one more behind Fnatic! What the hell? And even flusha wondering, what the hell did I just do, man? So that's gonna be Vexxed, just one more round away from picking this one up over here against Fnatic and potentially taking the lead too after starting this half off. Of course, losing the pistol, but ever since they got those guns in their hands, they've just been so dominant here. Fnatic has had nothing to work against them on their T side, and I talked about it. I thought that the CT side was going to be so rough from the players on Vexxed, but it ends up being so strong, and peet already again picking up one kill here, add on to an additional one there, but whoever that was from Fnatic is just left completely out in the open. JW is trying to find a response here, hoping somebody from Vexxed, and again, this would be Furlan in the bathrooms to get aggressive, but it's not going to be happening. They're just sitting back, they're waiting for that push to come out, and Hyper now is going to take a position outside of Monster. KRIMZ waiting for him to push into this one as well. He does spot KRIMZ a little bit early, but I think he might just be happy with this one and decide not to push it. The smoke comes out. They're not even really going to have the option to. And again, take a look over here, trying to figure out exactly who this is at this point. But it's going to be Furlan, right next to pronax. I think pronax knows though that there's somebody on the other side as he's jiggle peeking that to the best of his abilities. pronax does pick up the kill this time, but KRIMZ with a nice shot as well over onto Hyper. He picks up one, finds a second. Now the B site's open. They're going to rotate it down there, and he finds another one over here onto rallen to take him out. Peet's looking for the kill, gets it with the USP. Not sure what went wrong with JW there, but now there's an op in Peet's hands. And if only peet knew, he might even know, because it looks like he might end up going for this one with that timer being low. This nade! Throw it, man! Let's see! It's gonna go in! Oh, it actually takes down one of them there, so it's gonna finish off pronax. And now he's just gotta worry about KRIMZ. And he might even call for the save. This... I don't think peet realizes just how close he is to just killing these players. And let's see, finds that one shot, and there's the end of it now. Again, another round stolen away by Vexxed at this point. Great damage being done, and thankfully peet kills JW. He doesn't even need that out, to be completely honest, but what a round from peet there. He picks up 4 kills right from this get-go there, already getting his team into this one. And I talked at the beginning of this half, too, about how peet absolutely had to perform in a big way, and he has performed absolutely wonderfully. That op has been doing work, his solo play has been doing work, and I'm actually amazed he's definitely, he's tied for top frag now with the team when you look at Furlan. And Furlan's been another player too. Furlan got that amazing sneaky 3K there onto the players from Fnatic. This is an absolutely star performance from these guys. But keep in mind, as peet picks up a first kill, this is a best of 3. We're not going to be done just yet, but it does look like, at least for now, Vexxed have the upper hand once again, as although we are going to see peet going down, Furlan once again makes up for that. Not expecting, however, olofmeister to come up there through connectors, so he is going to find that trade, but at the same time there, Rallen's waiting for him. flusha moves in to find another trade, but it's not enough. It's left to flusha to clutch this out in a 1-on-2 scenario. He's going to roll his way up onto that A site here, and I don't think Vexxed are fully aware that he's pushing that as of yet, as they're still trying to take it nice and slow, just in case these flashes were tossed as he worked his way down into connector there. So, and again, considering it's flusha, of course, they don't really want to mess with him too much, as he slowly creeps his way onto that A site. Vexxed, I think, just want to try to line up a flanked angle if they can possibly work that, but the movement from them, just open to the big map for a second, I think is coming out a little bit too slow. flusha, though, you can see he's not secure with his position. He's looking back over here towards long A once again. Might try to get greedy and pick up a kill or two before he actually goes for that plant. And I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the correct course of action, but thankfully he's able to pick up on this one. The smoke is going to come out from him too, and it'll get tossed down way over here to the B site to make it look like there's going to be a take from there. So that's some ingenious play from flusha if it works. It'll be up to GruBy if he makes that call or not. But flusha still not feeling safe about it, man. He really wants to make sure that this site is absolutely clear, and he's giving Hyper so much time. Now he can't even get a direct plant. This is going to be bad for flusha now, because this is maybe a 14th point. He's going to have to win this 1-versus-1 versus Hyper to even get that plant to begin with now. And he's going to go for it here. Hyper should know it, but Hyper's not pushing it. He's giving him the time he needs to plant this one. And thankfully, though, Hyper is going to be able to clean that one up, And that round pretty much spells itself out there. Of course, after the great opening from Vexxed, it was left all at flusha, and flusha, I think, really knew it was at stake for this round, so they wanted to play it very, very cautiously and just make sure that that site was opening. But, I mean, by doing that, there's no way he could have known that Vexxed was going for that big of a flank, of course, but by doing what he did, he unfortunately gave Hyper the time he needed to rotate into a position, so he couldn't get a safe plant. He had no time to get into a post-plant position, and I think it was completely caught off guard by Hyper there, coming in through short A as well. So that's going to be pretty much a free kill for Hyper to grab there. He finds that one. And then that ends the round. Now Vexxed have the lead versus Fnatic, and are only 2 more away from winning this first map. A few rounds left here. Fnatic could still bounce back, and they're even going to try something a little bit crazier here now as they go for the double op setup. Olofmeister is going to be picking that one up, as will JW. And we'll just have to see how they work with this at this point. Fnatic trying to line up a bit of a take over here inside of water with a couple of their players lined up here. The bomb itself underneath the tracks at this point, and JW looking to maybe get lucky with a pot shot or two through the panel with the op, but not going to be able to find it. And Vexxed are playing fairly dynamically too, but even they are kind of, I think, feeling the pressure at this point too. Now that they've got the lead versus one of the best teams in the world, as Furlan not being as aggressive as he normally is on those short pushes. He's definitely going to be holding back a little bit more over towards the site itself. But Olofmeister making an opportunity to find a kill here in a second. Doesn't catch it as he actually scopes right in there. So not going to be able to catch those players just as of yet. And I think he may have been in a safe spot anyway there so that he couldn't have caught him. But regardless now, again, that timer down to 30 seconds. Fnatic suffering from some of the same problems that Vexxed was suffering from in that first half, where they bring that timer down very low. But peet and GruBy find the first 2 kills there. That's going to shut down KRIMZ and pronax. Flush and JW, though, find 2 to respond to it back over here on the A site. And that's going to clear it up now. They're going to be able to move in here. The plant comes in. And for the players here on Vexxed, their streak may finally be over. We'll have to see if they do decide to go for this retake. It's going to be, I would definitely say it's going to be very hard to work. I mean, they don't have any utility at all. This is actually is a bit misguided, to be completely honest, as they try to go for this. And yep, so far it's just a shutdown. GruBy moves in, picks up 1 kill. Now armed with the op, going to look for a couple more pot shots here to line up. Maybe one over on a flusha, but he doesn't catch that first one, and I think he's called it out now. And I was about to say, why are you trading out the M4 to save that? But he goes for the op pickup at this point, still not keeping any presence, so I imagine Fnac's going to catch on to this, but he's got too much of a head start at this point too, so he should be able to get away, run with that op, get himself out of the dodge, save that one at the very least. And now that big question is, they finally drop the round, and uh-oh, he misses the shot too, but so does Olofmeister. He's on the USP, Olofmeister misses another shot, woo! He corrects it, shuts down GruBy. And now the question becomes, of course, do Vexxed have the money to buy? Which they kind of don't. Look at it. How many rounds was that in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 9 rounds in a row. And Vexxed can't even really get a full buy after all of that. And that was the big key that I talked about before, was Fnatic, regardless of Vexxed doing so well and picking up so many rounds in a row, the problem for Vexxed is that they've been so close. There's no economy being established here for Vexxed now. And of course, just by the fact that they win 9 rounds in a row, of course, some people are going to be able to buy. But Rallen is stuck on a P250. And Furlan as well, back over here onto a FAMAS. The utility, looking at like peet, Hyper, and GruBy, they don't really have all that much. They've got a double smoke, they've got a double flash smoke setup at the very least. But I mean, you normally expect with a round score like that, you normally expect them to have mollies or everything that they need to work with at this point. But that's not going to be happening. However, kind of the same story, at least for some of these players over on Fnatic. I think they've used quite a bit of it already, though, so when you look at their money, I think they actually were managing to get a full kit at the beginning of this one, so it's definitely not as crucial for them, but this round could very well tell the way that this match goes, as unfortunately the team that loses this one, Fnatic can still sneak through with 1 or 2 buys here, I do believe, but if they drop this one, some of their players will be back down either onto Galils or Pistols, and that's definitely going to hurt them to some degree. Vexxed, though, they'll be on a full save if they drop this one. They don't have any money left at all, despite having that huge advantage, but they use Fnatic's own stack there that they used in the first half. Peet picks up the first kill. KRIMZ is trying to go for the spray now, but he can only find 1 at the beginning of this. They push forward, and Furlan just going to sit there. He's nice and cautiously, and is still inside. They're looking for him, but they can't find him. He's in that smoke. Thankfully, KRIMZ is going to be able to catch his legs there, as the smoke is not going to work into his favor. Now the nades come in. Now the Fnatic players work for this take, and it goes very, very well. An attempt from Hyper to flank them, but it doesn't pull itself off, and Fnatic get almost a perfect entry onto the site. They work it up. Definitely some players getting a little bit low there, but they do end up coming out on top, and I think they just may be able to escape with this map after all. After so much of a struggle, and after such a well-played map from Vexxed, it might all come to nothing here at this point, as Hyper, Peet, Rallen, and Furlan all sitting on deagles with armor, and for GruBy, it's just a UMP. So that's not a whole lot to work with. They've got to pray to the Counter-Strike gods that they can hopefully maybe find something with this one, but I'm not too confident. I think Fnatic After nine extra rounds that may have not needed to have been played, it looks like Fnatic may just end up closing this one out after all. For Grubby now, he's going to sneak forward. He picks up the first kill of our KRIMZ. We might not be done just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Push coming in from long A over here as well, as JW is going to try to initiate that, try to take down Rallen, brings it into 15 HP, looking for the bounce nade, but I think it's going to be a little bit too far off. And now he pushes forward here, gets a chance to execute, but at the same time, that player, that's going to be Rallen again, is able to fall back. But Peet as well, taking a whole lot of it. JW gets completely flashed. He's out in the open, but again, those Deagles not able to connect anything. Some more responses come back out. They're actually holding them back, so they're buying the time to rotate, but in comes pronax. He picks up the first kill over onto Furlan. Now that's going to be able to take him down, and now they're funneling in with the smoke assistance. pronax and flusha finding two more. JW moves in. He picks up one over on the Rallen, and this is going to end it at this point. Hyper has to work with his flank in a 1-on-4, looking for the kill. Gets one over on the pronax to shut him down, but now he's been revealed. He doesn't have a whole lot of utility. He's got this flash work, but he's completely blind. Flusha's going to roll right out there. That's going to finish him off, and that's going to end map number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic come out on top, 16-14 over Vexxed. But what a performance from Vexxed over on the CT side to swing it back from 10-5, bring it that close, and with so many of those rounds. It's going to be an interesting second map, guys. And once again, map number 2 is going to be played. Excuse me 1 second. Map number 2 is going to be played back over on Train, and that'll be Fnatic's pick. So make sure to stick around for that, guys. We'll be coming back with it in just a couple moments, right here on the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14 with iLeague.